Okay, so after placing the Serger back, again, make sure you have the power off, but put the belt back on the pulley by lifting up the 1/2 horsepower engine here, motor, and haven't reconnected the foot pedal presser yet, but we'll do that. But I did operate it and there was still no oil coming up through here, so I removed the bolts here, and you gotta pry this. Once the 4 bolts are removed, these 2 are longer than these 2 bolts, so just remember to keep the long ones up here, the shorter ones here. We'll take a look inside. Sometimes you gotta really pry this to get this thing off. Okay, let's oh yeah, here. You see that it's somewhat wet. Again, there's the wick that allows, this wick will follow this tube down there and lubricate some of the lower mechanism. This one, yeah, okay. And then this one, this hole terminates this metal tube about 3 inches down there, lubricating another specified area. Here's the timing marks that are really important. But again, no oil. We have to do this side because the oil regulator is on this side, and we're gonna go open up that, and hopefully we can get flow back to the top of the engine again, top of this Serger. So let's keep going here. Yeah. See if this thing goes up. Okay, we're gonna have to pry it here. There we go. Get this up and out. Careful not to lose the screws. Take a look down in here, and we see that there's the oil regulator, which seems to be pretty down. That screw is very far down. So what we're gonna do is gonna undo this top bolt. Let me just show you. Undo this very top bolt, and I think that's a 3/8 inch socket, and then counterclockwise this screw here, and that should allow some of the flow back into, let me just see if it is tight or it's not tight. Yeah, so this is tight, so we're gonna have to get a long socket wrench to work on that. So we'll pause that and continue to see if we can get some oil flow to the top. Now it does appear to be somewhat wet, but and that's because of the splash effect that the motor brings up oil to the top. But you seriously want to get this flowing to get the 2 key components to this well, which is the wick goes around, and also that drainage port goes to another area. So it's there for a reason, and I wouldn't operate it until you got flow to the top of this Serger. So we'll go from there. Okay, so 3/8 inch socket, and counterclockwise on that nut a few times, and get in here. Whoops. Oh, wait a second now. Don't wanna. It's interesting. Hold on. You gotta. Now the whole oil pump, this assembly's turning, and we just want the top half of that. So we're gonna have to put in get in here with a socket wrench and hold this and turn the nut. So let's get a wrench to do that. Okay, so holding it, the bottom half of this nut, that longer nut, I was able then to put my socket wrench down here and grab the top of that nut and turn it counterclockwise. Now I'm going to turn up There we go. See how the whole thing is just kind of coming up, which is good, because that will open up the fuel, the oil coming through there. So keep up. Let's see if we'll reattach it. Then we'll retighten it and see if we can get some oil flow up to the top of this engine here. We counterclockwise opened up this valve here, and now we got a little sputtering. If you can see that, just I don't know if she's sputtering a little bit. So let's open it up a little bit more. See if we can increase that flow. Then clockwise, counterclockwise. Now the thing is, you don't want to lose this, but let's see. What do we got here? Now there she comes. Come on. There she comes. There we go. Yeah. So we're gonna now tighten that back. You're having good flow. So then so we're gonna retighten, get this without having this turn. But I'll tell you, this is very loose in here. So you want to get that tight and tighten down really well, and then put back top cover, this cover, and the bar, and it's pretty. But look at this, the well's already full here. This is exactly what we're trying to do. Look how wet this is already. Trying to keep things well lubricated, but really if you don't see oil coming up underneath that window, you don't see oil, you really want to cease operating. And I'll tell you what triggered me to this was that it was a little noisy. When my wife was operating it, it sounded like a little noisy, like a car without oil. So that should quiet things down a little bit, I think. Maybe it was just me, I don't know, but we'll see. But that concludes the oil flow issue, changing the filters, mounting this thing back in here. Remember, the belt's on this side, not this is your hand pulley that you use. The belt is on this side. Make sure you keep things off, unplug things when you're working on them. And then I have a rethreading video. Now remember, I put the DCZ series for this Yamato. It's but this is the same as the Z610 and a couple other series. So don't be afraid to tackle it. The next thing we're going to do, my next video is going to be changing the upper knife and the lower knife. And you can buy these new and then have someone having a sharpener. Usually in every town, every city, there's a sharpener. So if you can't do it yourself, but I'll show you how to do it yourself. You can have someone that's experienced and professional do it. But we're going to talk about changing this blade. That's my next video. So anyway, take care. Enjoy your Yamato. These are wonderful machines. Take care.